Hello everyone, welcome to another video and I hope you're enjoying this very warm weather. I'm going to do a video on the Skipton to Colne railway line, not the reopening of it, as there have been plenty about that. However, the history of the Skipton and Colne line. So if you do like my videos, as always, please remember to like and give it a share, and also click the notification button to never miss a video, and keep your suggestions coming in as well if you want me to do any videos on any particular lines, motorways, etc, etc. You'll also notice that I've changed the name from Andy to No to Transperians. Just thought I'd have a bit of a change, since we're going to become more transport related on this channel. Anyway, I'll stop waffling on and let's get on with the Skipton to Colne railway line history. Half a mile after leaving Skipton station, trains from Morecambe and Carlisle negotiate a right-hand curve as they adopt a northwesterly course towards Gargrave. Now, if you are quick enough, you will detect a formation continuing straight on until after a short distance it is breached by the Skipton bypass. Keep looking to the left and you will see a long embankment continuing into the distance, complete with a 3-span bridge over the River Aire. This was the Colne line, a continuation of the Leeds and Bradford Extension Railway, built as part as a through route from Leeds to Liverpool. Authorised in 1844, the Leeds and Bradford Railway was to link those two cities via Shipley. A year later it obtained powers for the extension through the Aire Valley to Skipton and then on to Colne, where it was to join the East Lancashire Railway. The distance from Leeds to Liverpool via Colne, Lostock-Colne near Preston and Ormskirk, would be some 3 miles shorter than by the only existing trans-Pennine route, which was the joint monopoly of the Liverpool and Manchester and the Manchester and Leeds Railways. In 1844, these two railways had been linked at Manchester Victoria, but still suffered a long detour via Normanton. The Colne route was seen as a threat to the established railways. During the railway mania of the mid-1840s, progress with the railway construction was rapid. The Leeds and Bradford opened its main line on the 30th of June 1846. The extension railway reached Keighley in March 1847 and Skipton 6 months after that. Some people could not understand why it took them a comparatively long period of over a year to open through to Colne, especially as it appeared to be ready early in 1848. The answer may have been found in the terms by which the Leeds and Bradford Railway had been leased to the Midland on the day that it opened. The Midland was so keen to secure the Leeds and Bradford against the rival bid from the Manchester and Leeds Railway that it offered to pay 10% per annum to the Leeds and Bradford shareholders, which is more than they could reasonably have expected to receive as dividends had they remained independent. Either that or the Midland chairman and railway king George Hudson was looking for a quick profit on his large holding of Leeds and Bradford shares. Either way, the Midland evidently saw little prospect of the extension railway justifying the 10% payment, whilst Colne was a dead end. So it delayed the opening and therefore the lease payments until October 1848, by which time the East Lancashire Railway was fast approaching Colne from the other direction. The final stretch from Burnley was opened on the 1st of February 1849, completing the routes from both Manchester and Preston. Just 2 months later, the East Lancashire Railway also opened its line from Lostock-Colne to Liverpool. The East Lancashire entry in Bradshaw for November 1850 shows services from Liverpool, Preston and Manchester all the way through to Leeds. It is not clear whether one was required to change trains at Colne. There are some inconsistencies with the times shown on the Midland Railway pages for trains between Colne, Bradford and Leeds, but such was the difficulty with Mr Bradshaw keeping pace with frequent alterations at the time. According to the book, there are 5 weekday trains shown over the Skipton and Colne section, all through from Leeds, and most having some sort of forward service to Preston. The prestige service was the 3:15 from Leeds, by which passengers could reach Preston in 3 hours and 20 minutes and Liverpool in 4.5 hours. hopes that the Colne line would develop as a major trans-Pennine route failed to be realised. Events were moving quickly, and in 1849 it saw the completion of the Standage line, which gave a direct route between Leeds, Manchester and Liverpool under control of the London and North Western Railway. Even for traffic between West Yorkshire, East Lancashire and the Fylde coast, the Colne route was at a disadvantage. After the amalgamation of the East Lancashire with the Lancashire and Yorkshire Railway in 1859, through traffic tended to go via the copy pit route on Lancashire and Yorkshire metals to Bradford and Leeds, rather than be handed over to the Midland Railway at Colne. The Skipton and Colne line came briefly into the limelight after the opening of the Settle and Carlisle on the 1st of May 1876, with the Lancashire and Yorkshire Railway exercising running powers into Skipton for traffic from Manchester bound for Scotland. At Skipton, a new station came into use on the day the Settle and Carlisle opened. Previously, the station had been nearer to Leeds at the other side of the Carlton Road Bridge, which prior to the alterations in the mid-1870s was a level crossing. The old station building was not demolished until 1967 and also is now where Tesco car park is in Skipton. Moving back onto the line again, the single-track branch from Aire to Barnoldswick was built by an independent Barnoldswick Railway Company authorised by an Act of 1867. It opened on the 8th of February 1871 and, as was customary for many similar lines, it was arranged for operation of the branch to be entrusted to the Midland Railway from the inception. Ownership was eventually transferred to the Midland in 1899. The summer 1922 timetable is reproduced for both the Skipton-Colne and Barnoldswick services. On the branch there is a slight reduction by comparison with the pre-war timetable. In 1910 there had been 6 return trips on Sundays and also a later Sunday train at 11:35 p.m. from Aire to Barnoldswick, where the set was stabled. However, 1922 brought one overdue bonus for Barnoldswick passengers. Steam heating apparatus was fitted to the 2 locomotives and 9 coaches based on the branch. Between Skipton and Colne, the 1922 timetable also reveals a slight deterioration in service from the pre-war days. One of the casualties is a late night Saturday service, which in 1910 had left Skipton at 11:45 p.m, stopping only at Aire and Colne. The creation of the LMS as a result of the grouping of the railways in 1923 should have ended the position of Colne as a frontier station. Amazingly, if we consult Bradshaw for the winter of 1960-61, timetable L196 is headed Skipton, Aire and Colne. 8 trains were shown in each direction on Mondays to Saturdays, with 1 or 2 extras on Saturdays but no Sunday service. The table does not make mention of the destination of trains beyond Colne, but in true Midland Railway tradition, connections are shown at St Pancras, journey times from London to Colne ranging between 6 and 10 hours. Wow! Reference elsewhere in the timetable shows that most trains from Skipton did run through to either Manchester or Preston. Table L197 shows the depth at which the Barnoldswick branch had sunk. Mondays to Fridays there was a morning train, second class only, at 8:19 from Barnoldswick to Skipton. At tea time the 402 from Skipton returned from Barnoldswick at 5 o'clock, apparently with a choice of first or second class accommodation. The 8:19 a.m. also ran from Barnoldswick on Saturdays, when the only other movement of the branch was on the 11:45 from Aire to Barnoldswick. The line was put out of its misery when the passenger service ceased in September 1965, to be followed by the complete closure the following July. From March 1961, departures from Skipton were generally every 2 hours through to Manchester via Bury, following introduction of the regular interval diesel services in East Lancashire. There was no mention of the Skipton to Colne section in the list of beach enclosures in 1963, whilst the Barbara Castle White Paper in 1967 appeared to safeguard the future of this link, leading to speculation that the Leeds Morecambe service might be rerouted this way. At the end of 1968, a list was published of passenger services which were to be subsidised under Mrs Castle's legislation. Surprisingly, Skipton to Colne was amongst a dozen services omitted. With indecent haste, the line was put through the closure machinery. The last train ran on Saturday the 31st of January 1970, leaving Colne a dead end and severing practically all rail communication between East Lancashire and West Yorkshire. At that time there was very little passenger use of the Copy Pit route, which obviously is where Birmingham-Manchester Road goes towards Tobberden, if you're wondering where that is. Today there is a train every hour from Preston terminating at Colne, and the false economy of abandoning the intervening stretch of line is obvious. Two relics of the Skipton-Colne route have found new uses. The signal box from Aire Gates now controls the crossing at Damon Station on the Keighley and Worth Valley Railway, whilst the station building at Falridge has been rebuilt stone by stone at Ingro. Thanks to their Midland origin, these blend in well with their adopted surroundings. So there we go, folks. Hope you found that a little bit different. If you are wanting to know more about the history of Colne, Chaffers Sidings, Nelson, Briarfield, Burnley Central, Burnley Barracks, Rosegrove, Huncoat and Hapton, or should I say Hapton and Huncoat, if we want to get them in the right order, then these are all available on my playlists. If you just click on the railway playlist, you can have a look at all of them as well. So thank you for listening to this video. Remember to like, share and subscribe. Thank you for your support, and goodbye for now, folks.